Yes, of course. Yeah. And just think, if we when, now I'd like to say when we humans have this free energy source, just think how it would change the entire structure of society. Now, we might actually quit being greedy. Think of that. Whoa.
Happens there that's almost supernatural, and I can't claim to know what it is. What I saw can't happen. What I saw is impossible. I'm seeing these scientists, physicists and engineers stuff, they're all scratching their heads, going, okay, we see this, but they've been struggling for a year now to explain what is actually happening. It's almost, not quite, but almost self-perpetuating, and that's it.
Man, and you've seen this.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Solid, liquid, gas, degrees of freedom between electrons and neutrons, right? Even in a gas, there's still bonds. But when you get to plasma, they completely break free. So now you have electrons, neutrons become ions, and because they're electrically charged, they can be influenced by magnetic fields. And they also have this tendency to self-organize under the right conditions. If you apply the right frequency, it's like they spontaneously organize into toroidal forms. Visualize a sphere with a North Pole and a South Pole. And now let's say you collapse that sphere so that the North Pole and the South Pole meet at the equator. So now you've got this like indentation in the north and the south. They're like cones, right? What then happens is that you get this electron or ion, or both, starts spiraling down that funnel. And as it's spiraling down, it's increasing and increasing in rotational velocity. Now, in the northern hemisphere, say, it's going clockwise, and in the southern, it's going counterclockwise. And they meet at the equatorial plane. And that's where something really interesting happens that I don't understand. You've got this accelerating rotation, faster and faster, coming down literally to the microscopic level. And then those two whirling vortices meet each other. Something happens there that's almost supernatural. And I can't claim to know what it is, but that's the basis of the plasma technology. And I was present at some of these tests and saw for myself what was happening. A retired admiral from the Indian Navy flew all the way over from India to be there present at this testing. That was at a major industrial laboratory at one of the research labs out in Raleigh, North Carolina. But I was there, saw it working, saw two generators, a control generator and one with the technology. I watched as the engineers and the scientists there calibrated them both. And then I was the one who went up and started both generators. They're both in two separate rooms, started the technology on one of the generators. And so we've got readouts. We've got gas analyzers there, probes going up into the exhausts of the generators. We've got a couple of guys there with mass spectrometers hooked up. So we've got multiple ways of determining what's coming out of the exhaust pipes of these two generators. I go up there and I flip the switch. You can sit there, I can watch the mass spectrometer, I can watch the gas analyzer. Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and oxygen were in percentages. Methane and nitrogen oxide were in parts per million. So basically, oxygen is at a 4 or 5% coming out of the exhaust, which is about typical for a generator like that. You got, I think, 12% of CO2, CO, etc. So as you're watching it, here's what happens. The carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides start going down. Oxygen starts coming up. CO2 zeroes out. Carbon monoxide zeroes out. The nitrogen oxides go down to just a few parts per million, as does the other hydrocarbons. Oxygen tops out at over 20, I don't remember exactly, between 20 and 21%, which is optimum percentage of oxygen for pure unpolluted air. So what is now coming out of the generator with the technology is pure unpolluted air.
No kidding.
On top of that, what it's doing, it's capturing everything that's coming out and it's feeding it back into the thunderstorm generator. So in order to get the plasma separation to occur, I think you have to get it up to like 700 and some degrees. But once you do that, it's almost, not quite, but almost self-perpetuating. And you just have to replenish the water. Like I forget, however few hundred hours that it runs, you have to replenish the water. And that's it.
Man, and you've seen this.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. And I've known, multiple people now that have seen it. The Admiral, he took it back to India. India is seriously looking at it and as a retrofit for their Navy. The big industrial scale application on the 300 kilowatt Perkins generator on the substation in London. I mean, they're testing it, and they may start retrofitting all of their because it doubles to triples the efficiency.